Hey everyone, my name's Kiang. I'm the founder, CEO of Owner. As Ian already mentioned, we took over Infocare late last year. I think it was October, if I remember correctly. Um, During that time, we sat back a bit. We've listened to the likes of Ian, Fiona, the support team, as well as a handful of customers as well. Ian touched on, the InfoCare promises in terms of features and the roadmap and whatnot being, not being delivered. We took that all on board and so forth, and we looked at what we could do to make sure that some of the stuff that have been promised will get delivered, in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, months, and so forth. So, what I'm going to show you today is stuff that are currently available. We finish up here today, be able to use it straight away, obviously, after registration and so forth, be able to use a lot of the features that I'm going to show you today, um, rather than, us just talking about it. Okay, so before I go through a demo, I also want to give you a bit of a background in terms of Owner, how we've come about, what we're aiming to do for the industry and so forth. Um, I like to view us as the most innovative childcare management software, not just here in New Zealand, but in Australia as well. But obviously, with a heavy focus this year on grabbing some of the stuff that we've built out in Australia and porting it over here to New Zealand. We cover everything, and I literally mean everything. And you'll see some of that today, from photos to videos. So if you're using the likes of Story Park, Educar, and whatnot, we have that available on the new InfoCare app. Health and safety, incident reports, medication reports, staff incident reports. The list goes on. Anything that has to do with health and safety in a ECE setting, we have that available on the platform. Compliance, in terms of checklists and whatnot, we have available as well. Staffing, invoicing, payments, HR, payroll, we've pretty much covered a lot. I can't go through everything today, but I'll focus on a few core features that I think you'll find very useful and you can take back with you. Founded in 2016, it's founder led still. I'm a techie by trade, so I still code, I still build the software. I love it. I don't just sit in the office and try to run the organization. I get stuck into the code and I still build out a lot of the features that you'll see today as well. Okay, and hopefully you can see that from my passion. Over 8,000 services use the Owner suite of software. That obviously includes Infocare, Kidsoft, Owner in Australia, and a bunch of others that we've acquired as well. All right, so we're we're quite big. All right, we're quite big, but at the same time, we're proactively listening to our customers. We are guided by you guys, and you hear that today as well when I ask for feedback with some of the stuff that we have. Um, Owner embracing AI and outcomes. All right, so this is one area that we're leaning towards and where we're kind of pivoting to our strategy, so to speak. For the past 20 years, SaaS companies, we're a SaaS company, software as a service, for those that don't know, sold software and called it service, but it wasn't. The customer still had to do most of the work. So a lot of these software companies built great software, but you guys, would have to jump in there and do a lot of the work to get the outcomes for it. I view the next generation of winners won't be building dashboards, they'll be delivering outcomes. And that's what we're pivoting the company towards, is more not just a software company, but a outcome services type company. What does that mean? Literally, don't sell me a CRM, bring me customers. Don't give me a help desk, resolve my tickets. Don't hand me onboarding tool, onboard my people for me. Don't give me payroll tools, build me a roster, pay my employees for me. That's the kind of software as a service business, outcome as a service business that we're pivoting towards. And you'll see a lot of that today as well in the demo that I'll give. Um, Touching on technology and AI, while we leverage leading cloud-based AI services such as OpenAI, Claude, Gemini, Llama, and so forth, a significant portion of the capabilities showcased today are powered by our own locally hosted infrastructure. So what does that mean? It means data sovereignty and obviously responsible AI practices as well. All right. Let's look at data being served to these providers. Right. So if you're, using the likes of these third-party providers, your data is going out there. They do promise that it is, it's private, it's not going to be used to train their models. We never know. All right. So to reduce that risk as a company or as an organization, but also for our customers, we also have done a lot of stuff internally as well. Okay. Um, Demo time. I'm not one for slides. I like to jump straight into demo or the actual product itself. What I'll do today, I've got a bit of time, I think. I've got a bit of time. I'm going to cover it from three different aspects. Right, so I'm going to show you what educators can do on the platform. I can't show everything obviously, but I'll focus on stuff like being able to write up stories, being able to write up reports and whatnot. I'll talk about it from a parent's point of view as well, how they'll interact with the platform and what we have done in terms of our smart technology to alleviate some of the issues that you might get at the service. Stephen touched on this earlier in terms of staff shortages, burnout, staff being overworked and so forth. What we're trying to do with technology is to limit some of that time spent, right? So instead of parents having to call the service up about a certain questions, we had that a lot of that stuff built into the application, so that again, they're reducing the amount of phone calls that you'll get. What that means is, if you don't have a dedicated admin person that takes phone calls, someone has to go off the floor, take the parent phone call. 10 minutes is lost right there. Right? So we're trying to deliver more time for you guys to obviously spend more time with the children, and obviously teach and learn. I'll go through it from a director's point of view, or management's point of view, or in some cases, HQ, as in head office. I'll touch on it from a administration point of view, how you can utilize the platform to build quicker rosters, compliant rosters that are efficient, cost effective as well. I'll touch on it from a utilization point of view as well, how we can spot utilization trend and give you guidance. I'll talk about from a staff well-being point of view as well. Again, staff well-being is quite important at the moment. Stephen talked about this. A lot of turnover, a lot of staff leaving the industry. We want to avoid that, right? Obviously, we're not there on a day-to-day basis at the center, but what we can do is hopefully use software to be able to facilitate that, help you guys, keep your staff. And again, how do we keep staff? By obviously reducing the burden on them in terms of workload, admin, paperwork, or digital work in this case here. We want to reduce that, and hopefully we're able to showcase that in the demo today. Let me jump straight into it. Give me a second. Let me just close that off. All right. Just to prove that it's available right now, as you can see, if you were to jump on the App Store right now, I'll cover this in a second, but Infocare, the new Infocare app is available today. All right, so you can jump on the App Store, Google Play, download that, and away you go. Obviously, you've got to be registered first, but just to show you, it is available right now. Okay. So what is the Infocare app? So I view the Infocare app as a companion app to what you're using on Infocare right now. So what you're familiar with this particular screen here. This is your Infocare dashboard. This is not going to change anytime soon. Okay, so don't freak out. Don't worry. Don't worry too much. You're not gonna. We haven't bombarded it with all these features that you're gonna get lost. So what you see there today, it still remains. The only thing you might see once you're registered is the Infocare app button at the top right here. All right. If you were to click on that there, and we've kind of separated it for the time being. Again, we don't want to confuse our users at the moment. But if you click on that right now, what it will do, it will open up the new Infocare companion app portal. Okay. Again, don't worry too much about what you see right there. But again, they're separated at the moment. So again, what that means is, whatever you do in Infocare right now will remain. You won't get confused in terms of what's available here. But in terms of what's available here, there is a bunch of stuff that we do as a companion app to Infocare. So health and safety, I talked about this a bit earlier. Digital consent, child incident report. I won't go through every single thing today. Obviously don't have time. I can talk all day about the system, but I've only got 45 minutes or so I'll try to cover some of the main stuff that I wanted to go through. Curriculum. We cover as well. Okay, so again, if you're using the likes of Storypark, Edugo, Mana, you can have this all available on the one platform. And what does that mean? Is one app for your parents, one app for the center, one app for management. I'll talk about it from a curriculum point of view. I'll talk about it from a post point of view as well. When I say a post, a write-up, could be an observation, a learning story, a jotting, however you want to coin it. We cover that on the platform as well, photos and videos, and obviously powered by our smart technology as well. From staff point of view, staff message boards, staff policies. Let me see what else is there. From a center point of view, your menus, your checklists, your policy documents, and whatnot, all covered inside the platform. Okay, so this is the administration dashboard here. This is where you do a lot of the administration type tasks, right? Like set up your checklist, set up your curriculum and whatnot. I want to show you the companion app. So the companion app consists of the parent mobile app here. So if we were to click on the Infocare app there, you'll see the splash page pop up. Just wait for that to load. But this is the app that parents will have going forward. At the moment, there's no parent app on for Infocare. If parents need to contact you, they would, email, call up the center and whatnot. Going forward, they'll have a companion app here as well. Okay, so the Infocare app. What can parents do on the app? So first things first, I've got a fictitious center called Sunnyside here. I'm logged in as a dad called Francesco. Francesco has a son called Omar. Omar's in the service. Click on Omar right here. I'll be able to see if this is marked in by you guys. Or at the center level, I can see he's had breakfast, 2 servings of breakfast, 1 serving of morning tea. He's had lunch. He's had 1.5 servings of afternoon tea as well. He's also had sunscreen applied in the morning as well. Okay. I'll cover how educators mark this in a second. But as a parent, I get that information in real time. We're not saying you need to put in this information in real time for families. Again, depending on your I guess how you do this at your service, whether it's every hour, end of the day. Obviously, we'll communicate that with families, set that expectation from the start. But in my case here, I just marked up a bunch when I was sitting down next to Stephen there. What has Omar had in terms of breakfast, lunch, morning tea, and so forth? Down the bottom here, menus. We'll show you a menu as well. You probably saw that earlier when the screen loaded on the timeline. We publish it on the timeline as well, but also in the child's profile. So you can see straight away, if I'm a helicopter parent where I need to know everything, I can see straight away that yes, Omar's had breakfast and exactly what that meal was for that day there as well. Okay. The menu is obviously all configured in the Infocare dashboard. That's where you can load up your menus, put on a rotation, and if it's a 4-week rotation, that 4-week will cycle there for you. Okay. Toileting as well. So if Omar was in nappies, or in this case here, he's toileting, I can see straight away any toileting that's been marked. So 9-12, toilet wet, Jane Smith, did this particular checking. Sleep times as well. So we'll do sleep times. So anytime a child goes to sleep, you can mark him asleep. You record when. You could obviously go do a check every 10-15 minutes. They'll get recorded there as well. And parents can obviously see exactly how their child's going. All right. I was quite picky on that, or my wife was quite picky on that when our kids were quite small. She was quite disciplined in terms of they needed to sleep at this particular time and whatnot. So she liked to know exactly how long they slept for, so that when they come home, again, she could plan a lot better as well. Okay. So that's the from a parent's point of view, that's what they'll have available on the app. The timeline, as I mentioned earlier, will have all the photos, videos, and whatnot that have been posted about that child. It could be just a regular post for the day. It could be an observation, a learning story, something, a more of a portfolio type post as well. But they'll have all that available here on the platform going forward. I want to touch on it from an educator's point of view quickly. So on the educator app, so they generally have let me just close that down. They'll generally have the iPad in the service, or a tablet. In my case here, I've got a iPad simulator. Click on the Infocare app here. I think the Wi-Fi is a bit slow here. All right. And this is where they'll mark up all the stuff like your daily information, breakfast, lunch, morning tea, and so forth. Toileting. So it's pretty much just tap, tap, tap. If I were to click on that there, tap there, it records Alan Grant, wet nappies, done by Kiang at 9:58 a.m. Okay, so all time stamped, all logged as well. What I want to quickly show from an educator's point of view is if I were to jump back into here, I'm gonna jump into my portal. The reason being is Ian's got this is Ian's portal. I don't want to mess his demo setup here, so I'm gonna jump into mine quickly. Just give me a second. All right. All right, so this is my fictitious center Sunnyside. I'm going to quickly show you some of the stuff that we've built out on the post side of things here. So first things first, I want to write up a story, or I want to write up something about Omar for Francesco to see. So I'll go to manage posts here. So quickly straight away, you can see at the top, we give you some alerts as well. So in this case here, it just lets me know that these are the number of children that have been tagged in the post for the last in this case here, 7 days, the last 7 days. So it gives you a bit of an idea, who has been left out, so to speak. In my case, I've got quite a lot of children here, being a fictitious service. But generally, for your case, it might be, a lot less, maybe one or two, and straight away, little Johnny has been put up on a post, and it could be fine because he might be absent for the last 7 days, for example. Okay. Um, so what I want to do is click on the little plus icon here. All right. So what I'm showing you here is on the desktop, but you can also do it on the app as well. All right. And I'll touch on the app in a second, but I'll focus on the desktop first. So I want to put up a post. I might say, Omar had a great day. No, I think I've got a bit of a blurb here that I'm going to copy and paste. All right. So before I do that, so I'll do a post. Before I publish this out, um, again, there's a couple of things I can do here. So we have our smart technologies, just checking the post, then if it meets a certain criteria. So it could be, in this case, just give me some suggestions in terms of what I can do. All right. I might decide I want to transform this. I can check grammar as well. All right. And grammar is quite good in the sense that it's, especially in Australia as well. I'm sure it's the same here in New Zealand. We're short staffed. I assume just like you guys are. We have a lot of educators at the moment from non-English speaking background. Great carers, great educators, and so forth. But perhaps their wording, their choices of words aren't as good as they should be. Being able to use grammar check as well. All right, so run a quick grammar check over the post itself to get feedback in terms of what needs to change. Our most popular feature at the moment, based on our stats, is the rewrite style. All right. So what this means is I write up a post. It could be just dot points as well. I could say Omar's first day, great day, happy today. A bit sad in the afternoon, or whatever the case might be. A few points there, and I can let our transformation engine rewrite that post based on the points that I put in. Okay. So great. Again, great for those that need a bit of help in terms of choosing the right words to convey. At the same time, also alleviating some of the time you need to spend writing up a post on the platform. So what I can do is go, yep, I want to make this in a professional manner here. Okay, we haven't tracked exactly what the most popular item there is to change it to, but we know that rewrite style is about 40% of the usage at the moment. So I can generate rewrite. And when I generate rewrite, our transformation engine will look at that there and we'll kind of rewrite that for you in a professional manner. Okay, so if I want to be more of a conversational, I just do that again. Select conversational. So the post that I wrote now becomes a more of a conversational type post. All right. I can go replace original, and if I replace original, it replace what I have there. And I can just upload a few photos and push that live right now. Okay. Before I do that, I want to select Omar. So I'll select Omar here, and I can upload some photos. I think I've got one photo on my desktop somewhere. Oops, desktop, there it is. Okay, so I've got a dummy stock photo here that I've downloaded. Before I link that up, I might tell it to pick some frameworks that I want to link back to. My one doesn't have the New Zealand framework, but let me just jump back to Ian's. So if I were to go back to Ian's setup, you'll see when I do a post, learning tags, it's got all the New Zealand curriculum inside there. Okay, but mine's still on the Australian one here for my demo, so I'm gonna click on that there, and it will suggest a few different frameworks for me to link back to based on the post that I've written. Okay, so let's just see what it returns. All right, so it's calling our transformation engine to go through the post. So we'll go through the post and we'll go, yep, this one suits this particular framework here. I can accept it, or I can obviously go, no, I don't think it does. So I can remove that as well. So it does whatever I have in my frameworks down the bottom here, it will pass through to our transformation engine to try to marry up if it matches those particular frameworks. I'm happy with that. Okay, yes, I'm happy with that there. Apply that. And all I need to do now at the end is add this post right now. All right. Before I do that, I'll quickly show you another thing that we've built out as well. Omar is a problem child. All right. So there are phrases and stuff that you don't want to use. So when I first started building out Owner, and to be honest, I didn't tell this story, but I had no idea about early education. Other than the fact that I've got three boys, they went to childcare or preschool and so forth. I had no idea what happened on a childcare setting. I would go into the center and I would say kids, and they would correct me. You shouldn't use kids. You should use children. Right? So words like that. Every center has their own phrases and whatnot that they don't want educators to post. So in my case here, I've got this excluded word functionality here, where when it loads. Come on. All right. So I've got a list of excluded words. All right. Excluded words here. All right. So all manageable by you guys. Not something that we've kind of dictated. You got to have these words. So these are the words that I've pretty much just added. All right. So anytime some of these words or phrases pop up, if I were to do this, add post, it'll do a language check for me. Okay. So before I can publish it, it's not saying you can't publish it because you still can, but it's more so just giving you an alert. Look, you should probably rephrase that problem child. All right. So I won't post that. I'll just go review and edit. I'll get rid of that. He's not a problem child anymore. I go add post. And when I add that post, again, parents get a notification on the device. Ding, ding, your child's been posted up or has been mentioned in the post. Have a read of it now. As a parent, I'll straight away, I can guarantee you most families would click that notification straight away anytime their child's mentioned. And if I were to jump on the app now, let me just refresh the screen. You won't see the notification because it's a simulator, but a notification will pop up on my device. I would click that and I'll get that post right here. All right. Looks like next door is probably using the Wi-Fi, but it's quite slow. It's not downloading my photo. Oh, there it is there. Click on that there, have a read through that. That's the actual transformation text that's been written. Photo there. I only uploaded one, but if there's multiple, you'll see a bunch of thumbnails that you can click on and whatnot. I can comment on that, like it. I can see all the frameworks and whatnot that were selected by the person doing the post. Again, you can comment on it as well. So creating that two-way dialogue with educators. All right. From a family point of view, what else can they do? So on the app itself, if I were to, okay, it looks like Ian's turned this one off. So let me, I'm going to jump onto my other app here, Owner. So it's this pretty much the same thing, right? But I'm quickly show you on the Owner app, and it'll be available on the Infocare app going forward as well. All right. So as a parent, I'll have my statements and invoices here. All right. So at this stage on Infocare, I'm assuming you're sending your invoices to families, and obviously they get it on an email. You can continue doing that as well going forward, but once it's available on the Infocare app, parents will have the statements inside the app. All right, so what that means is, not having to trawl through an email and finding their invoices. It'll be all listed inside the app going forward. So it makes it easier to, and I used to have this issue back in my childcare days where I would, try to find an invoice that was sent 2 months ago and having to trawl through Gmail, through thousands of emails are quite hard. Going forward, available inside the app here, I can see a running transaction. A lot of the again, we've a lot of data over the last 10 years. We see a lot of not issues, but we see a lot of pain points in terms of parents not understanding the invoices, having to call up the center to go, look, why am I paying more this week? I generally pay $50. This week I'm paying 60. Why is that the case? We can alleviate some of that, right? So I'm not saying that you're going to get zero phone calls from families about their invoices, but if we can use a lot more of these functionalities, smart technologies to go through our or to provide families a way to communicate and find the answers before they have to call up the service. They could be doing this at midnight tonight, for example. Don't have to go to the center first thing in the morning and ask. So I might say, why is my amount larger than previous weeks. All right, so I submit that here. All right, so the transaction log that you see in the background there is passed through our smart technology to go through and traverse it and go look to find any discrepancies or find any issues with that particular invoice or that particular statement. I can see straight away. I won't read through this, but it'll give families an actual idea as to why certain things have changed. Okay, so recent weekly changes, two sessions, two sessions, two sessions, and so the week of May 4th to 10th is only $4 more than the prior 2 weeks, and so forth. All right, so hopefully that gives family a bit of an idea as to why that particular invoice or that particular charge is a lot more or a lot less than what it was the prior weeks. All right. If that doesn't resolve it, again, I can obviously ask another question, a follow-up question as well. Okay. Um, I'm not saying this will eliminate a lot of, all your phone calls that you'll get from families, but it will help reduce some of the calls that you'll get from families. And what does that mean? It means more time for you guys going forward. All right. So that's what we're trying to do in terms of, software helping families, but also services as well. The other thing I wanted to quickly show you from a family's point of view was we do policy documents as well. Right? So you might have policy documents in your front foyer in folders. I can promise you parents don't read it. No one goes through those folders, but you need to print them out. You need to update it and so forth. Going forward, what you should probably do is have it all available on the app itself. So you upload that, and that's all manageable in the dashboard here under policies and documents. This is where you'll upload all your policy documents. And what happens is from a parent or a family point of view, they'll have it available on the app here. They can, in theory, go through each policy and read it and so forth. And you might have a case where you need parents to read a policy. So you can do that as well. They can read that policy, click on that there, and they can obviously tick that they've read that policy as well. But the feature that I wanted to quickly show you was the ask our smart technology in terms of a certain policy. Okay, so my child got bitten today, or let's just say I want to know what happens if my child is bitten. And assuming you've got the policy documents for this particular topic, if I were to click on that now, this might take a bit of time because it goes through the whole PDF set and tries to find the right fact sheet or the right policies and obviously the right passage as well to give that response back to the user. Connection was lost. I think the internet's quite slow here. Let me try it again. All right, let's try that again. It worked in Auckland. The internet was a bit quicker there. I'm sure we'll come back in a second. While that loads, I want to quickly jump back to a sentence point of view. So whilst that loads, so I'll show you the daily information earlier where we had to mark down exactly what child's eaten what and whatnot. Feedback I had from a center recently that I visited, it looks like it's timed out as well. But I can promise you, it does return data there. So what happens is it will say, if you had a fact sheet, it will say, yep, this is what happens. Depending on what your fact sheet says, it'll say yes, your child will be comforted, that other child will be spoken to, and so forth and whatnot. Jumping back on the right hand side here, so I talked about the daily information, being able to mark it as you go. One center that I spoke to recently, and I do a lot of center visits. I would, especially when I go on holidays, and I know we've got a center around the corner. I generally go and visit them, or I would ask them first. And one feedback that they got was daily information they like, but generally what happens is that they found it easier to have a piece of paper and just tick things off, and they'll upload that for families on the timeline. So something similar to this, right? So I kind of mocked it up on this piece of paper here. So I would write down the names of the children on the left-hand side, breakfast, lunch, morning tea, tick or write a comment in terms of what they're eating. They used to use that, and they would take a snap of it and upload it to the timeline for families to see. So what that meant though was privacy issues. You've got stuff like, my child was Omar, but I can see there's Alan, Andy, and Anna and so forth. Not very private there. Okay. So what we've built out is I'll be able to do this. We'll go select. And I can take a photo of that right now, or I can go choose photo, and I'll pick that photo here. That's already on my camera roll. I go done, and I go save draft. Also transcribe. And once I transcribe, it will read through that sheet. It will work out who's in the center for that day. And what I'll try to do is it will match it up with that child, and it'll give them a tick against their name, or a 1 or a 2, depending on what was written there. Um, right, this one's taking a bit of time as well. I think a lot of people must be on the hotel Wi-Fi at the moment. But as you can see, it's worked there. Okay, so let me find Omar. Does it match Omar? No, it hasn't matched Omar for some reason. Oh, sorry. I'm on the Ian's portal here. All right, so he's only matched up Anna and Ryan because these children are in Ian's portal here rather than mine. All right, but if I was on my portal just then, it would match up with Omar and whatnot. And all I need to do is save draft, and I'll click the little tick icon here. And if I were to look at Anna's profile now, because I know Anna got marked in, Anna Reed, you see straight away, 1111. Okay, so another fast way you can do it without having to do it as you go. No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Um, okay, so that's from a educator's point of view. All right. So the other thing I want to show you from an educator's point of view was our developmental summary. Okay, so just quickly go back to posts. I'll go to curriculum here, and I go developmental summary. At the moment, especially in Australia, we do half yearly reports, so to speak, or centres will do half yearly reports. They call it a developmental summary. So what they'll need to do, and we'll modify this for the New Zealand our New Zealand centres, and this is where we'll get feedback from you guys, and there'll be a QR code at the end that you guys can participate in that feedback session as well. We'll ask you in terms of what you would like to see in the platform. But to quickly demonstrate this for you. So if I were to write a developmental summary now, like a half yearly report, I go add, and I select my child. I'll go Omar. And generally what I would do, there he is. Okay, Omar. So generally what I would do as an educator is I would jump back on the app here, and I would go to, Omar. Right, so go to Omar, and I'm just going to view all his posts. So generally what I'll do is I'm writing up a summary or a report on Omar for the last 6 months. I know I have documentation on Omar. As you can see on the timeline, I'm viewing the timeline. I'll go through each individual post. Again, a lot of these are fictitious posts. So I'll go through each individual post, and again, there'll be observations, there'll be follow-ups, there could be learning stories. Try through all that there, and then come back and try to write up a report, so to speak. Okay, so my favorite experience at school are some of the children I enjoy playing my time with. Any of these learning outcomes right here, any developmental milestones achieved, any child's goals that have been achieved. I would upload any photos or documentary evidence there. I would do a educator's note, ed leader's note, any goals and achievements as well. So I would write that. I would probably generally have an iPad, goes through the post and see exactly what his any write-ups that have been written about him throughout the whole 6 months. Or I could do this. So I might say generate developmental summary with our smart technology right here. I've selected Omar. I go generate, and I'll say get me all my documentary evidence from the 1st of January till today, which is the 21st. I want to pull back all the posts about a child. I want to pull back any jottings. I haven't talked about jottings yet, but any jottings that I've written about the child, any observations, any child goals achieved. I can make this in a warm and personal tone. I can go professional, concise, parent friendly. I'll just leave it as warm and personal. And length, I'll just keep it with the medium here. I can give some extra guidance as well. Okay, so I might say like, please include Omar's birthday post that we did, for example. I won't do that. I'll just go generate full report. And when I generate that full report, it will take about 15 to 30 seconds, it says here. So I'll go through from the 1st of January, get all the posts that's written about the child, in this case here, Omar. You'll find any meaningful ones. So you might put up a post, for example, please pick up Omar's dirty nappy, for example, it will exclude those irrelevant posts and pick back anything that's obviously relevant, and it'll generate like a report card for in this case here for Omar. So let's see what it comes back with. There it is there. So know straight away, based on all the jottings, the posts. So I love playing with puzzles. And you probably saw some of the photos that were uploaded about puzzles, right? So he's obviously picked that up there. So it works out what exactly his favorite experiences are based on the posts that have been written. But you could obviously guide the transformation engine as well to say, please include trucks as Omar's favorite experience because you might not have posted about that previously as well. All right. Children enjoy enjoy spending time with. He says he has a special friend named Tom. I'll show you where that comes from in a second as well. Okay, so it's quite smart in terms of what it can pick up and obviously what it will display in certain areas for you. Lastly, I scroll down to the bottom here. It's picked up a few milestones as well. I can choose to accept it or not. I might decide. Look, I don't want the ed leaders one. Where is that? There it is here. Educational leaders note. It's written one for the educational leader as well, but I want to say, nah, I don't want to accept that because I want the educational leader to go through it and have a read through that before they put any notes. So, okay, yep, update or apply to it, apply to the form, and there you go. So it's written me a full developmental summary rather than me spending perhaps, an hour per child. If I'm looking after 10 children, 10 hours, I can do this in this case here, about 30 seconds. All right, we're not saying it's going to take 30 seconds, but you still need spend a bit of time to go through it to make sure that, look, there's nothing there that shouldn't be there. So you still go through that, but instead of spending hours on it, you might be spending maybe 20 minutes, for example. Okay, so it's a lot more, a lot better in terms of time spent than in front of a computer. All right. And all I need to do at the end here is publish this live. So if I were to publish this live right now, families will see that inside the app itself. Okay. Um, Jottings. I'll quickly go through jottings. So here under children, we have a jotting section as well. And before I forget, I'll jump over to the app as well. So you can do what I've showed you there was on the desktop. You can also do it on the app as well from an educator's point of view. So you'll see I can start typing away and I'll have this little transformation icon down the bottom here. And then this is where I can choose grammar, read write style, and also translation as well. So for those that we're obviously in New Zealand here, so what I'm going to do is on the app, oops, let me get rid of that. I'll type in something properly. I'm mindful of time, but I better rush this. I had a fantastic time. Quickly before I do that, I'll go translate. Whole bunch of different languages that I can translate here to. There's a Maori one here, so click on that there, and hopefully there are those that can read Maori because I won't be able to tell you if this is right or wrong. So I'll go replace, and he's written that in Maori for me. Okay, and I can obviously, if that's right, I can publish this out in other families. So that's available on the app as well as the dashboard. Just jump back on the dashboard quickly here under jottings. I can again choose Omar. So we see this a lot where centers don't generally post every day. They might do one per week, but they take notes about a child or jottings about a child, and what they do is they do one post at the end of the week. So this is what you can do. So I might say, I can write this down or I can dictate it. Yep, let me allow it this time. Omar had a fantastic day today. He was playing with trains. Does that work? Might be my internet being slow again. Right, the dictate didn't work there, but I can promise you it does work. Omar played with trains today. Right. So again, I can upload any images as well. So I'm taking a quick jotting, just a quick note. Omar played with trains today. Add that jotting. Date cannot be in the future. Okay. Oh, no way. Yep. All right. Because this is obviously in Australian time zone. Children jotting. So that's added here. So what I can do now is end of the week is come. It's argument's sake. It's Friday. I can go. Yep. Select Omar's jottings for the last. In this case here, I've got one from the 4th of the 5th as well. So I go create post. And when I create posts, I can create that as an observation, learning story, a follow-up. Click on that there. What it does, it picks those 3 different jottings that I've put in for that week, and it'll create a post for me with a title and so forth that I can accept. And I go, yes, create this as a post. And when it creates it as a post, it will come back into the, it'll create it as a draft. And I can simply go into here and it picked up an image as well that was uploaded in the jotting. So this will be part of that, the post image. And again, I have full reign. I can upload more photos as well as if I wanted to. But again, if I'm happy with that, I can still transform it. I can still go through the whole motions of rewriting it as well. But if I'm happy with that, lastly down the bottom, option here for me to publish that particular post. Okay, so that kind of covers it from a parent's point of view and educator's point of view. There's a lot more that again that parents can do and educators can do, but I'll quickly go through it from a director's, management, head office point of view as well, or anyone who's kind of looking after a particular service. One thing I want to quickly show was the rostering side of things. So under staff here, and as you can see, we do quite a lot. All right, so rostering is one thing that I want to touch on, especially in an ECE setting. We hear that a lot from our centres. Is they can't roster properly. They struggle rostering correctly in terms of making sure it's compliant, making sure it's cost efficient, but also at the same time they're ticking all the boxes in terms of qualifications and any requirements that are needed. So for next week, I've got a roster here at the moment. We do quite a good roster inside Owner, and I'll quickly show you how we do it at the moment. This roster is kind of built out already. If I want to add to it, for example, I would go, yep, click on that there. I want to put in a staff member called David. David's going to work the 6 to 2 shift. His lunch is going to be 11:30 to 12, and I'll go save changes, for example. Okay, and away I go. I'm just going to delete this roster. The other way you can build out a roster is you can go back to, say, last week's roster or the week before, and you can duplicate that roster week to week. So we have that option there as well. But one thing that we recently built out is our rostering tool using our smart technology. So all I need to do is go to an empty week. I delete that roster for 25th. And all I need to do is hit that green button right here. All right. If I hit this blue button, what happens is it builds an empty roster, and I need to go and build out that roster from scratch. But if I were to hit that blue button, hit the green button, it will build out the roster for me. It will do a pre-check as well to let me know if there are any issues in terms of any staff shortages or whatnot. But I'm all okay. I'll go build roster. And in the space of about 2 seconds, it's built me out a roster that I hope is compliant. I'll quickly show you that in a second. It'll also give you a breakdown as well as to why certain staff members being put into certain rooms. So you might have staff members who are permanent staff members that need to work 40 hours or 38 hours in a particular room in a particular time and so forth. So you can set that all up and it will adhere to those rules. But at the same time, it will also fill in the gaps for you as well. All right? If you're short staff, you don't have enough staff members to create vacant shift lots for you as well, so that other educators can pick up that vacant shift if they're available. I'm not going to download that report. I'll just go okay. And I've got my roster built for me that you can see inside here. To quickly show you if it's compliant, we have our ratio interval tool here. And if I were to open that up right now, let me just remove the post-word exclusion. All right, so let me jump to next week. Just don't worry about that graph. I'll go to the 25th and I'll just get rid of some of the noise here. All right, so it's built me out a compliant roster. All right, I'm a lot more, kind of over resourced at the moment because I've got a lot of staff that require permanent days, and I think I've removed a whole bunch of children. So the blue line, let me just get rid of that here as well. All right, the blue line are your children. All right, so based on data, we know that X amount of children are there at a certain time of the day. You see this a lot, where it's a bell curve, where children will come in steadily, it plateaus out as all children are in the service, and obviously drops at the end of the day as children leave the service. So in my case here, this is my kind of a bell curve. These are all my staff that have been rostered on based on the roster that was created just then, or any roster that you built out. And lastly, the red line here is the ratio that's required at every 15-minute interval. All right, and I can see straight away down the bottom on my walkthrough column table here that I'm in ratio at every single point of the day. Okay, so again, rather than me guessing and so forth and trying to pick and move staff around, I can just hit the button there. It'll build out that roster for me. Um, you can still tweak it. Obviously, after it's built, you can still go and tweak it and make any changes to it as you need to. But generally, you find it builds quite a good roster. So feedback that we had from our services using at the moment has been released. This auto build of it has been released for about 4 or 5 weeks now. So the feedback from our centers have been, some are seeing a saving of between 5 and 10% in terms of their roster costs. All right. What else can I show? So with rostering built out and whatnot, staff members are checking in, checking out. We'll do that on the platform as well. I won't go through all that, but we have timesheets that's there. We do a well-being report, so you can get manage staff. And if I go to staff wellness, I run a wellness check. And this is based on, obviously you need to use rostering for this, rostering and timesheets. It will work out straight away any signals that it can alert you to. Okay, so in my case here, I've got a user called App Support who's missed 4 breaks. I've got a Belle Simpson who's 2 short staff shifts. So it means that she's worked in a room by herself. Again, that could be in ratio and that could be fine, but generally fine for well-being. If you have another staff member there with you, it's going to be a lot better for your mental health and physical health as well. 5 missed break, 2.6 hours overtime, high pressure right here. Okay, so this report here will hopefully give you some clues as to who to look out for example. So I've got someone here who's 5 closing shift in a row. So if I were to build a roster for next week, I would make sure Tegan here does not get the closing shift. Okay, so we'll alert some of this stuff for you as well. So that's your roster, your staff well-being. A couple of things 2 more things I'll show you before we wrap up, or before I wrap up. So on the attender side of things here, so attendances on your utilization report. So based on your data, I'm going to exclude weekends, for example. So I'll know straight away, based on your attendance history and patterns and whatnot. You can see straight away, high demand, consider waitlist. Right, so I've got high demand, 5 rooms average 95% occupancy. These kindy, the baby room, the preschool. So it's suggesting I should use a wait list for those rooms. Spare capacity available. So 3 room average 50% or below before after school care. Some new test room and pre-kindy. And the quietest weekday is a Friday, which averages 37% occupancy across this period. So typically best for inductions, maintenance, and staff training. Okay, so trying to surface some of that critical data or data that we think is useful for you guys at a management level or operational level there as well. All right. And last report I'll quickly show you is who's using the AI functionality. So here you can see straight away. Again, this is a fictitious service. 536 users, 8 users. The adoption rate's 1% for this service. The most popular feature is the policy documents here, but it's estimated that it's saved over this period here. Again, these are fictitious data, but based on our usage, our testing, 44.7 hours have been saved over this period by using some of the tools that we've built out to streamline some of the operations that I've shown you today. All right. A lot more I can show you guys, but obviously I'm out of time. I've got to hand over to Simon, obviously morning tea and Simon to follow. But QR code. All right, so scan that. Watch the intro video for the app itself. We are asking for feedback. We also what we want to do is build what we have over in Australia and make it really, really suitable for the New Zealand market. We think we've done that with a lot of the stuff that we've had. At the same time, we know it can be improved as well. So if you guys want to join that feedback session, be able to provide feedback, be able to provide guidance in terms of what you want to see in the application, let us know. We're able to accommodate that. I've got the signal from Jack. I've got to get off. But feel free to come up to me, have a chat if you need to. I'm available all day. So yeah, just in the corner there or at lunch, feel free to grab me if you want to have a quick chat about anything else. Right?